Okay, welcome to your upper body tonic. We will be working with our avocados today, aka myofascial release balls. Also grab a blanket and a block if you've got one. We will start just sitting on the mat. You can sit on your knees like I'm sitting or however is comfortable for you. We're going to start with just like a little bit of an arm massage, because when was the last time you massaged your own arm? Make a fist. I've got my left hand in front of me. I'm going to lift my wrist up, and that exposes this mound just below the elbow. I'm going to use my thumb to clamp down onto that spot and start to move the fist around. And if that's not feeling good, just keep playing with the position of your thumb. Particularly if you hang out in down dogs, if you spend time on your hands, if you play tennis, if you work with your hands, you might have a really good amount of tension there. So we're just using our own hands to give ourselves a little massage. Did you even know that you needed that? Probably not. I always forget this, and whenever I remember it, it's like, oh God, I need this. I'm moving my thumb around every few breaths, just looking for a different spot. So good. Let's go to the other side. So make that fist, lift up, look for that mound just underneath your elbow crease on the forearm. Start to move the fist around as you clamp down and go looking, have a little play. A little higher, a little lower. I've just released the fist. With self-massage, there's not a one size fits all. There's not a perfect way to do it. You're just exploring and seeing what feels good and what feels helpful. We're not hurting ourselves. We're just getting that nice, dull, achy massage release. Let's release. Make 2 fists. Make sure that your thumbs are holding those fingers in, yeah? You're going to press the backs of your knuckles towards each other. Make sure the fingers are curled in. The fingers aren't opening. Your thumbs are holding your fingers in. Lean forwards. Press the backs of your hands to the floor, and then slowly let's extend those arms. Yeah, I know, it can be a little bit nasty. A little rock from side to side might feel good there. Fingers are still curled in, yeah? And so that might mean you're fairly close to the floor. Tight little forearms we've got, aren't they? Yeah. Let's take another round of breath. And a big sigh out. Okay, this is a nice one to come back to if you go to like yoga classes or anything, or just as a nice warm-up. Block. You're coming down onto your belly. You've got that block just there in front of you. Pop your ball on your block, and we're going for a tricep release on the ball on the block. So it can be a little bit finicky to find the spot, but as I draw my elbow away, the ball is massaging down the tricep. And then as I pull up, we're lifting up. You can just have a little play with how you want to position yourself here. You might be resting your forehead down on top of your free hand. Or you might want to stay up like I am. We're just traveling up and down the tricep. You might want your blanket spread out underneath your hips if you've got bony hips. You want that support underneath you. Make yourself cozy. Make yourself comfy. If you're anything like me, when I'm setting up other people for a stretch or for a shape, I take a lot of time, I try to make it perfect, I make sure they're very comfortable, but when it's myself, I just kind of flop myself down on the ground. So I'm trying to spend more time to make myself really comfy and set myself up well. I invite you to do that as well. Let's swap sides. Please bring your props over to the other arm. I've got my block on its flattest setting, so I've got lots of space to roll around. If your triceps are feeling a bit tight, this can feel really good. Giving those triceps some love. For those of us that aren't in a financial position to be going and getting massages every single week, these balls really do the trick, don't they? Sometimes I feel like I don't even really need a massage or want one because I've got my avocados, I've got my little balls. I found a spot there, so I'm just going to hold still for a few breaths. You can keep moving or you can just pin and hold and breathe on a certain spot. Oh yeah. And let's take a few more rounds of breath on this arm. And then let's release. Swap out your block for your blanket. See, I've got my blanket folded up with a nice clean edge of the blanket that's close to me. That clean edge of the blanket is going to be underneath my right shoulder. The rest of the blanket's out of the way. So my body's not touching blanket at all, just my right shoulder was going to touch the blanket. I'm going to put my avocado just right there on the corner of the blanket that's closest to me. And I'm going to look for the spot just beneath my collarbone, pretty far out to the side. So if you trace your finger beneath your right collarbone, scooch it out towards your shoulder, you'll feel there's a little divot. There's some space to relax into. That's where the ball is going to go. Right arm out to the right. I know there's a lot of instruction here. And then I'm going to rest my right cheek, my right temple on the floor. And see how that feels. You might want your blanket folded up less, so you've got less height. You might even just want your ball on the floor, so that's also totally cool. You might want a block underneath your head. Again, this is supposed to feel like a massage. This might not be the perfect spot for you. You might want to take the ball a little bit lower, a little bit wider, a little bit closer. Basically just going and looking for a spot underneath that right shoulder, right chest, excuse me. And if that spot's feeling really good, stay for a little bit longer, or you might like to just scooch everything down just a little bit. So we're going down around the breast tissue. I did a really strong Pilates class yesterday, so I'm feeling pretty sore, and this is feeling really nice and helpful, helping to tenderize that muscle. Wonderful. Let's lift up and swap sides. So this whole blanket's going way over to my left shoulder. Nothing is going to be touching the blanket except my left shoulder. The ball is going to find its way nuzzling in just underneath the collarbone, pretty far out towards the side. And my head rests on the floor as we turn the gaze to the right. I'm not here for too long, just giving a little time to let the pec minor The muscle of the chest, that little muscle right up towards that top corner of the chest, letting it just soften and release. If it's been stuck in a holding pattern, this will hopefully feel really nice. Nice might be a strong word, that's okay. Feel free to stay there, or maybe take everything just a little bit lower, just a few millimeters, finding a slightly different spot, a little lower and wider, so you're going around the breast tissue. One more deep breath in. And a big sigh out, let it go. Let's make our way back up, up, up. And a child's pose. And then from child's pose, let's lift up to sit on the heels where we began. Or any way that you are comfortable seated. Let's open the arms up nice and wide. Let's go for eagle arms, wrapping right arm underneath the left. You know this is a favorite of mine. And we're just squeezing the elbows together. So now we're moving to large intestine channel at the backs of your shoulder. You're very welcome to just hold still here, or it might feel good to bring your elbows to your tummy, chin to your chest. Maybe a little nuzzling in side to side. We've got those elbows squeezing together. Let's come back up. Unravel the arms. Other way, left arm underneath the right. We are squeezing elbows, and you can just hold still. If holding your shoulders is more appropriate, do that. You might like to come in, chin to chest, elbows to tummy, and maybe a little rocking side to side. See how that feels. Let's lift back up. Unravel the arms. We're going to make our way down to our backs now. So swim your legs out in front of you. Make sure that all of your props are close by and within reach. And we'll start with a neck massage with your block. Another way to do this would be to have your block on flat setting with a ball on top, working into the base of the skull, top of the neck. Personally, I prefer using the sharp edge of the block. So I've got my block up on its medium setting, and this sharp edge that's closest to me is going to be nuzzling in right underneath the skull, base of the skull, top of the neck. So I've got both of my hands on my block, and I'm going to lift that sharp edge of the block up a little bit higher, so that as I turn my head one way and then the other, the block is massaging just beneath the skull, working from the occipital groove at the base of the skull, top of the neck, and then as I turn my head side to side, I'm traveling towards my ear. By holding the block, you can help to maneuver the block. Also a favorite of mine. Probably a favorite of yours as well if you spend a lot of time with your head at awkward angles looking at devices. We can build up a lot of tension here. And the thing is, when we have a lot of tension here, the lymphatic system of our brain, which is called the glymphatic system, it's not going to be working properly. Your brain is not going, while we sleep, our brain is supposed to drain fluid overnight. And if that doesn't happen, we can wake up feeling really foggy and just like mentally unclear. That feeling of brain fog is literal and physical. It's that the fluid of the brain has not been able to drain while you were sleeping. And having tension in this spot might be contributing to that. So giving ourselves these massages is so much more than just pleasure. It's actually very functional for us to be able to operate and function as adults and just humans wanting to live a good life. So take your neck massages seriously, my friends. Return to this often. And if somewhere along the journey you find a particular spot that feels like really helpful and good, you can stay. You can pause this video and keep going. However, if you're feeling done, we're going to, I kind of don't want to move on. We are going to move on, however. We're going to take that block out, and we're going to pop that block on its flat setting underneath the sacrum. So we've got the hips a little bit elevated. You might even want to pop your blanket on top of your block, making it extra cushy. So we're in a nice, gentle, supported bridge. We've got our 2 balls, and those balls are just going to go right on top of your shoulder, to the very tippy tops of your shoulder. And then we reach the arms up overhead. So we're going onto the traps. Oof. And then you can bring your arms down. And maybe a little reposition of the balls. Arms up overhead. And arms back down the body. Let's do that a few times. Remember, this is supposed to feel like a massage. So if this is feeling really wildly intense, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything that doesn't feel good. I would actually like you to really be sovereign in that. You can also do this with your blanket on top of your balls. That will help to make everything a little bit softer. This time, as I reach my arms up overhead, I'm just going to stay there and give it a few breaths to really let that tissue at the very top of the shoulders start to soften. Letting the traps let go. Take a moment to guide your breath a little bit lower and a little bit slower. Feeling your low ribs expand as you breathe in. And relax as you breathe out. Very good. Let's bring those arms back down beside the body. Take the balls out of the way. Slide your block out from underneath the hips. So we've got hips on the floor. And we're going back onto the shoulders, but this time a little bit lower. So I'm going to crisscross the balls going up over the shoulders onto that squishy bit of flesh between your shoulder blades and your spine. If this feels wildly intense, put your block underneath your head. That's going to give a little less pressure. You're also very welcome to put your blanket on top of your balls, or you might prefer to do this against the wall. I'm going to scooch my body up my mat a little, let the balls go a little lower. And you might want to bring in some movement to the arms. So thinking of that spot, if you're giving somebody else a massage, you grab your shoulders and you dig your thumbs in. That's where the balls are now, the place where those thumbs would dig in. Going on to the rhomboids. And we're giving ourselves a massage, so just do what feels good and helpful. You can move up a little, down a little. I've got my feet flat on the floor just so I can easily like wiggle and maneuver my body around the mat. You can bring in some movement to the arms. Maybe even interlace the hands behind the head. Lift your shoulders. Lift your head up off the floor, putting a little pressure onto the balls. If you're feeling a little hardcore here, you can press your feet down and lift your hips up, pouring a little extra weight onto the balls. Not needing to overdo it here. But we are just looking for what feels good, and we're massaging in. A little interpretive dance with the arms might feel nice. And so even though I do suggest you to pause sometimes and go longer if you want to, we don't want to overdo it, especially if this is a newer kind of movement to you. Don't want to make you too sore tomorrow. But you are very welcome to pause and hang out for a little bit longer. If you're with me, we're just going to slide down the mat. The balls will pop up out of the way. And you are all done. Thank you for joining me for this little upper body tonic. I hope that you're feeling just a little bit more open and joyful through your upper body. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your day.